everyone. Shalawama, shalawama. Let me see if I can get this right, better, more symmetrical. Hold on. All right. No, that don't look good. I think they move the tables whenever I come here because I don't get the same positioning. Anyway, be that as it may, I'll try to sit here so you can't see that light. All right? Okay, one more second. So Shalom, everyone. I am Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Welcome to the free astrotheology course. This is our textbook, The Gospel and the Zodiac, The Secret Truth About JC, the Christ Figure. Okay, the author is Bill Darrell-El. All right, so we are on page 23. Still working with that table. All right, if you don't know what the table is about, you have to go back and watch the videos. Watch all of the videos. Okay? We are on Pisces. Pisces is the last zodiac sign in the table and in the book of Mark. Okay, so Pisces section of Mark begins at Mark chapter 14, verse 17, and it goes all the way through chapter 16, verse 18. All right? So this is very interesting because it begins. So Mark chapter 14, verse 17. So 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So here we get the number 6, and 6, of course, means perfect man or perfection, right? Excuse me. 6 again is the first perfect number in nature. So now we have 6. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 equals 6. So we have 6, and then the number 7. 7 means cosmic harmony. 6 plus 7 equals 13. 13 constellations, 12 constellations, 12 apostles. 12 constellations plus the sun, S-U-N, equals 13. 12 apostles plus 1 equals 13. 13 means perfect governance, perfect rulership. Everybody see that? So when you follow nature, you adhere to the times and seasons of nature, of natural law, the major natural laws, the 7 hermetic laws, and then the lesser laws, like the laws of physics and so on and so forth. When you adhere to them and you master them, you become what? Again, this is Christ, perfect rulership. This is enlightenment. Okay? JC, the Christ figure, plus his 12 apostles, perfect rulership, right? Rule as priests and kings, or Christ will rule with his brothers, or whatever, in God's kingdom, perfect rulership. Y'all get it? Is that coincidence? Yes or no? You tell me. Anyway, let's continue. So the main incidents, the betrayal, suffering, sacrifice, death, and resurrection. Now do y'all see why this is chapter 14, verse 17? 6 and 7. Y'all see it? Because it involves the betrayal, suffering, sacrifice, death, and resurrection of JC, the Christ figure. This is all cosmic. Scorpio betrayed the Christ with a kiss. Right? That's cosmic. That's astrology. Okay? All solar deities suffer. So the sun, the sun in the sky, begins to suffer immediately after the summer solstice. Why? Because the sun will begin to fall. The daytime hours begin to shorten, and the nighttime hours begin to lengthen. So therefore, Christ is being humiliated. All right, y'all, I don't know if y'all heard what I was saying, but I'm going to keep going. Christ begins to be humiliated at the end of the summer solstice. The sun has reached its highest point in the north. It has nowhere to go but either horizontal or down. Okay, so when it's going down, it's falling. Hence, it falls. Autumn, the fall. What's happening? The number of nighttime hours are increasing, and the number of daytime hours are decreasing. And there's nothing that the sun can do about it. Why? Because it is based upon the laws of nature. So Christ is being humiliated as he falls. The Prince of Darkness, that's right, those nighttime hours begin to reign. Y'all see it? Suffering happens in the dark. Clear? The sun falls below the celestial equator. The sun crosses below the celestial equator in the autumn. That means the sun gets crucified. There's the sacrifice. December 24th, 12 midnight a.m., going into December 25, the sun dies and stays dead for 3 days. The sun is resurrected on December 25th. That's why all solar deities are born on December 25th. They all experience some type of death or visitation to the underworld. Clear? For 3 days. And then the sun is resurrected on December 25, 24 at 12 midnight. The sun is resurrected. It begins to spring north, to spring up, to ascend. So the sun is falling in the fall. September 29, the sun enters into the gates of hell, right? Darkness. December 21, 22, the sun is at its lowest point in the bottomless pit of space, and dense darkness is so cold that it's hot. Here is your hell. From the religious point of view. Y'all see it? And then on December 25th, the sun is resurrected and it begins to spring toward the vernal equinox, or to spring upward toward springtime. Now the sun is ascending. So there's been a reversal of direction. The sun was falling, going south. Now December 25, the direction changes. It can't go any further south. So it goes horizontal for 3 days, and then it goes north. That's your yin and your yang. Okay? Excuse me. All right. So those are the main incidents and their astrological relationships, or relations rather. So the zodiacal keyword is self-sacrifice, hidden things, dreams, sufferings, compassion, secret enemies, self-undoing, and deception. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so page 204, scholars, 204. is where we're going to start. So here is Pisces. All right, here is Pisces. Now remember, each sign in the Maserat, the Zodiac, the wheel or path, has a polar opposite. Every sign has a polar opposite. This is the law of opposites in the Hermetic laws. All right? This is the law of polarity. Okay? So, draw a straight line to the next, and you'll see the opposite zodiac sign. So both of these zodiac signs are on opposite ends of the same line. It means that they have the same nature. In other words, they're the same thing, but they differ only by degree. Clear? Movement occurs from one opposite end to the other due to the Hermetic law of vibration. Okay, so at one end of the line, there is the positive pole. The opposite end is the negative pole. The negative pole has the lower vibration. Clear? The positive pole has the higher vibration. This is the Hermetic law of vibration. All right? The Hermetic law of rhythm allows you to move between each of the opposite ends of the line. The Hermetic law of rhythm. Excuse me. And gender is also involved in that. Okay? Cause and effect. I've done videos on all of this. Y'all can go back and read it if you want to know more. Or watch the videos. Or read the book. All right? Cause and effect is involved. We have the lesser law of transmutation that's involved in the movement. And also the lesser law or technique of neutralization, which is involved. And then, of course, cosmic habit force. Cosmic habit force and neutralization are the same. Okay? So, hopefully, if you've been following me, you're familiar with these terms that I'm using. Okay? So, anyway, we see also all of the 7 Hermetic laws are here, are represented here. Okay? They are present here. Okay, so let's continue. Let's get into the chapter. So our first subheading is Pisces, and remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to identify the incidents and zodiacal keywords. They may be presented directly or indirectly. We just have to see. All right, so let's get into it. Pisces and Jupiter. With Pisces, we come to an end of our zodiacal walk. So Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. Okay, Pisces, with Pisces, we come to the end of our zodiacal walk. All right, so the end means last. Why is he using the metaphor walk? Because it's the Maserat, the Zoad, it's a path, a pathway. Okay? The sun sun, which begins its journey through the heavens at the vernal equinox, that's going to be around March 19 to 21 every year. Vernal equinox means spring equinox. So you can relate that to what I was talking about a few minutes ago about the sun springing north. Excuse me. All right. Okay. The sun, which began its journey through the heavens at the vernal equinox, now enters its final 30-day phase before it re-enters Aries, and the whole cycle begins once again. Excuse me. So Pisces. Pisces is the last zodiac. And then here is Aries. Y'all see Aries right here? This is Aries. This one. Pisces is the last, the 12th. And the process starts all over again with Aries, which is the first, which is the vernal equinox. This is the beginning of spring. Now, our ancient ancestors did not see spring as the beginning of the year. Let me rephrase that. For our ancient ancestors, for example, the ancient Egyptians, all autochthonous Moors, they did not recognize spring as the beginning of the year. So I went over that. I've also said that we need to correct the zodiac. So modern astrologists, they recognize spring as the beginning of the year. And the rationale is because in spring there's rebirth or regrowth. The next generation appears. Life begins to happen and grow again. Okay, due to the atmospheric conditions. And the sunlight, the number of sunlight hours. However, our ancient ancestors saw the harvest as the beginning of the year, which means the covenant of grace. You entered the year in grace, in the covenant of grace. You began the year with everything being given to you. Mother Earth gives you her superabundance. The same way when you came out of your womb, everything was given to you. You didn't have to work for anything. You had your mom, you had your dad, you had your family, right? You had your kinfolk. Everything given to you. You had eyesight. You had your sense of smell, taste, hearing, touch. You had the intuition. Everything given to you for free. You were born into grace. Okay? Whereas the spring equinox is the covenant of labor. Yes, the covenant of new beginnings, right? Rebirth, the next generation, the flowers and the plants, everything's growing. But it's the covenant of work, of labor, where you got to work for it. You got to work for everything you get at the sweat of your brow. So you decide which one is more harmonic with nature. But I'm going to go with what our ancient foremothers and forefathers did, which is to recognize the beginning of the year and the covenant of grace, which is the harvest. Everything is free. All right? And then after that, it's up to you to maintain it and keep it. Okay? Which is exactly what happens in life. In other words, that's what is really natural. Okay? So let's continue. Pisces is at the end of the cycle. Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign. And it has come to symbolize all endings. Pisces symbolizes all endings. But Pisces does not symbolize finality. Why? Because final means final, no more. Endings is different than finality. For example, the basketball game ended. Well, in a couple days there's going to be another basketball game. But if basketball ends, in other words, it is final, then there's no more basketball games ever. Okay? Y'all see? So in other words, Pisces will come, and after Pisces, Aries will come, And then the whole cycle will continue to repeat itself. It has no end. All right? As one cycle ends, another begins. The death of one is the birth of another. Remember that? Pisces ended and Aquarius began. Clear? Pisces ended, Aquarius began. Whenever there's a transition, there's always death, decay, but there's a deterioration, death, decay, and a rebuilding. All right, so with the deterioration, death, and decay, there is turmoil and suffering that goes along with it, okay? Until the mindset of the people change. All right? The mindset changes from the current zodiac. It has to change to the mindset of the present zodiac. All right? So the mindset in Pisces has to change. Okay? So they go through the transition. Pisces ending, Aquarius beginning, but the mindset of the people is still the same. So the mindset has to change. That's only going to happen for the vast majority of people through pain and suffering. Right? Most people are not going to change on their own, let alone maintain the change. They have to change because of conditions. And then that change becomes a habit. It becomes a mindset. Y'all see it? So the same thing happens when Pisces will end and Aries will begin. That whole process of destruction or deterioration, death and decay, along with suffering, right? Grief, agony, suffering, and then a rebuilding. It happens between each zodiac. All right? So let's continue. Pisces and Aries are complementary aspects of the universally observed phenomena of darkness, decay, and death, leading to light, growth, and light. Y'all see that? All right. So in other words, from the summer solstice, the sun can only go south. So the number of dark hours are increasing. So as the number of dark hours increase, the temperature of the earth is becoming colder, right? So now you need to stay warm, you need to eat. It's harder to get food. Y'all see? Harder to get food. So what? Animals are hungry, people are hungry. Crime gets committed in the darkness. And when people can't feed themselves. Right? But when the sun starts to spring north, and then springtime is happening, now the number of daylight hours are increasing. Food becomes more abundant. People commit less crimes when it's light. So there's a constant battle in nature, as it were, between what? Light and darkness, good and evil, Christ and the devil. Y'all see it? This is the complementary aspects he is talking about. All right? Pisces and Aries are complementary aspects of the universally observed phenomena of darkness, decay, and death. These things are happening as the sun falls south. Okay? Leading to light. Light is when the sun changes direction at the winter solstice and it starts to go northward. Now the daytime hours, the light hours are increasing, and the nighttime hours are decreasing. Okay? All right, so darkness, decay, and death leading to light, growth, and life. Right? So that process begins in springtime. It continues through the summer and into the fall, which is where the plants mature. Right? All right. So in the springtime, we have rebirth, right? The plants are growing, new vegetation. Summertime, the plants are growing, they're maturing. And then in the autumn, in the fall, they're mature, they've reached the peak of their maturity. And if you don't harvest them, they will rot. Okay? So this is the cycle he's talking about. So in terms of the mindset, people go from being in the dark mentally where they can't see, mentally, meaning, well, you can say they're stupid, they're uneducated, whatever adjective you want to use. They don't know. But they can move from being uneducated, ignorant, whatever adjective you want to use, and they can become enlightened. Enlightened means what? Sunlight. Right? When the sun is out, you can see everything. When you are enlightened, when you have knowledge of natural law, you can see, all right? You can see everything. Okay, so let's continue. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Saying Shelley, is expressing perfectly the rhythm both of nature and of the human spirit. So that's the Hermetic law of rhythm. All right? The seasons come and they go. There is a rhythm. Right? A hard winter will be balanced by a good summer or easy summer. Okay? A hard fall will be balanced by an easy spring. Remember, the Hermetic laws, the Hermetic law of rhythm says that the energy that pushes the pendulum in one direction, in the opposite direction, it'll swing with the same amount of energy. So that there is balance, or what? A counterbalance. Right? So if it goes 20 points to the left, it's going to swing back 20 points to the right. The energy is perfectly balanced. Okay? Perfectly counterbalanced. And counterbalance is what's meant by compensation, y'all. All right? Compensation is counterbalance. They're synonymous. So with men and women who buy and sell or who suffer in life, whatever suffering you choose, you're going to get a success. If you stick with the work you're doing, you're going to get a success that counterbalances your suffering. It'll be equal or even more. Y'all see it? This is why you should never be too concerned about people cheating you, about people lying on you, not paying you when you're doing business, or even in relationships when people don't do you right. As long as you stay in honor, the counterbalance will eventually come to you. There's a lesson for you to learn. And then once you learn that lesson, it might just be with your self-image. It may be the way you see yourself. But once you learn what you need to correct about your character, then the counterbalancing energy will kick in. And as much as you've suffered, you will gain in success. Be it happiness or whatever it is that it is, right? Money, whatever, or fiat, whatever. Okay, that's the principle here. So let's continue. So the natural law of rhythm, compensation, the counterbalance, rhythm, right? The in, the out, the rise and the fall, right? That occurs in nature and with your mindset. Today you feel depressed. Tomorrow you feel amazing. There's a counterbalance. But the goal is for you to control what you feel. Right? And I've gone through that about controlling your mood and your emotions. It involves, scholars, do you remember what it involves? You must first be aware of the law of vibration. All things vibrate. Lower depression, negative feelings, anything that's negative is a low vibration. So the goal is to increase your vibration. The positive emotions are a high vibration. So you need to go from a low vibrational mood or emotion to its opposite, which is a high vibrational. Okay, and you do that through the law of rhythm, you need to move up. I forgot the word I want. Oh, transmutation. So you transmute upward. Remember, the difference between the two is only by degree. So you need to transmute up. So I talked about different methodologies of doing that. For example, the Silva method. Different types of meditation, visualization, imagination. See, y'all been misled about visualization. Visualization has its purpose, but it's through imagination that you can put what's in your mind and make it appear in the physical world. But you can learn this from the Silva method. There's all types of therapies and techniques y'all can use to do this. Okay, so I'm not telling you anything new. None of this is my original creation. Okay? And then, of course, you use cosmic habit force to maintain the positive, honorable mindset and behavior. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the last 15 or 20 videos I've done. Okay? And then you use neutralization so that you can avoid the hermetic law of rhythm that's occurring at the subconscious level. Y'all remember the subconscious level? That's the feminine mental gender. Y'all remember we went through that? The masculine energy outside of the body, the feminine energy inside of the body, and that you are the sun. Okay, you are a man or a man with a womb. So there's your Trinity. You have the Father outside of the body. You have the Holy Spirit. Okay, the subconscious mind. And then you're the sun. These natural phenomena have been remixed into a deity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, that's at the level of the Hermetic laws. All right, let's continue. In referring to this sign, we're in Pisces, along with Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, as bicorporal. Ptolemy was in part describing Pisces' linking character. So Pisces has a linking character. These signs, called mutable signs in modern astrology, come at the end of each of the 4 energy pulses of the solar cycle. So what he's talking about is that the mutable signs are those signs that are present when the season ends. So when springtime ends, that sign is a mutable sign. Springtime ends, summer begins. When summer ends, the zodiac sign that we're in when summer ends, that is a mutable sign. And the same for fall and winter. In other words, mutable, they change, they are transitional. Okay, so the natural laws are immutable, they never change. But the mutable signs, they change. Okay, so they are transitional. Okay, that's all he's talking about. So they are bicorporal. As the energy from one pulse diminishes, by pulse he means one season. So we have 4 seasons, right? The orientation is the north, the northern hemisphere. So in North America, you have winter, summer, spring, and fall. In Asia, Southeast Asia, you have wet and dry. So only 2 seasons. So you have 2 pulses. In North America, you have 4 pulses, 4 seasons, winter, summer, spring, and fall. Okay? All right? As the energy from one season diminishes, okay, so the season is ending, so therefore its energy is weak. It's at its weakest point, right? So as the energy of one season diminishes or begins to reach its minimum point, or when it begins to go away, to end, and another season begins to build up. So spring gets so low that it's over. Now we're in summer, and summer is building up, right? The signs themselves reflect this duality in their symbols. Gemini, the twins. Okay, Virgo is the maiden with the sheaf of wheat. Now y'all remember, Virgo is not a sexual virgin like they taught you in Christianity. All right? So now listen. The signs themselves reflect this duality in their symbols. What duality? Well, they end weak and they begin they end weak and begin strong. The twins, that's Gemini, Virgo, the maiden with a sheaf of wheat in her hand, Sagittarius, the centaur, the half horse, half man, and Pisces, the 2 fish. Y'all got it? In one way or another produces a tension, which all 4 of these signs symbolize in one way or another. This is least in evidence in Virgo and Sagittarius, since the earth of one and fire of the other give consistency and resolve. So those are the, earth, wind, water, and fire. Okay? Qualities wholly lacking in airy Gemini and watery Pisces. So let me repeat that for y'all. Virgo and Sagittarius. Since the earth of one and the fire of the other give consistency and resolve. Okay? So consistency and resolve, these are personality traits, right? Characteristics. Your character, you are consistent. You have resolve. In other words, you don't give up. You're resilient. And you're consistent. You don't do it today or do it for 1 month and then stop for 2 or 3 weeks. And then start again for a month and then stop for 4 weeks. No, you do it consistently every day or almost every day. Right? And you have resolve. Nothing happens that's going to stop you. Right? There's no problem that's going to stop you. And then there's no woman who's going to stop you. Y'all see? You're going to do whatever it is you're going to do, regardless of what's dangled in your face. You have resolve. Qualities wholly lacking in airy Gemini and watery Pisces. Okay, so Pisces and Gemini, they lack, or there is no resolve, or minimal resolve and consistency in Gemini and Pisces. Now, these are general energies, and these energies are having their influence at the level of the subconscious. Y'all hear me? At the level of the subconscious. This is the law of rhythm at work here, right? It happens, again, it happens at the level of the subconscious. So if you have a weak masculine energy, That involves your nationality and jurisdiction or law language. You don't even much know who you is. You're running around here talking about you're black, Latino, Indian, Native American, all of these things. And you have no idea about your law language, which is nature. Then the masculine energy projected at you through your enemies. And I'm talking about Deuteronomy chapter 28, calling those people who oppress us our enemies. If you can't handle that your gods, the hybrids, are your enemies, well, you need to leave here. Okay, this is not the place for you. You need to begin to deal with reality. So the toxic media, the toxic genocidal media and entertainment, the toxic genocidal public fool system, and university education, which is almost all doctrine, science, religious doctrine. I want y'all to remember that term, science, religious doctrine. Okay, because science is no longer science. It's doctrine. And if you're not aware of that, that masculine mental energy is at this moment and will continue to collaborate to overpower your masculine mental energy because it's weak. Because you're a little boy, or probably even an infant, in terms of your mental masculine energy, which is your will. Right? That's supposed to collaborate with your own feminine mental energy. But because yours is weak, your enemies is going to collaborate, and you're going to continue to produce the mindset and lifestyle and habits that you currently have. But all of this is happening at the level of the subconscious mind. So this is why knowing the law of polarity, the law of gender, mental gender, the law of rhythm, and the lesser law of transmutation, and the lesser law of neutralization or cosmic habit force is so important. Because when you transmute above the negative pole, for example, you're depressed, you're in a bad mood, or whatever the negative energy is, the low vibrational negative energy, or maybe you're poor, right? And you have the mindset of poverty and the fear and everything that comes along with that. When you transmute, when you move up by degree to the positive pole. So if you're a coward, you focus on becoming and being brave. Not only thinking about it, but doing it. Okay? Doing it. Now, you're at the positive pole. You are polarized rhythmically in honor. High vibration. And you do it long enough where it becomes a habit. In other words, cosmic habit force kicks in and your mindset changes. Now you don't have to think about it. It's just automatic behavior. Now that you're at that place in honor, vibrating high, at a high frequency, you will not be affected by the rhythmic movement occurring in the zodiacal age. So in this instance, we're talking about resilience. Remember, in Gemini and Pisces, they don't have resilience. Okay, you can overcome that. You can become, or you can develop your resolve. Okay, what was the other word they used here? Resolve and consistency. So you can develop the consistency and the resolve. It's not something you cannot escape. Okay? Y'all see how this is working? You see why you need to know this? Do you see how to use it? And this is another comment for everyone who who said to me, well, we need to know, we need some information we can use. Well, use this information the same way you used your religion. You used your religion to worship an external deity, to ask that external deity to do things for you. Okay? And you studied books, you read, you tried, and you're probably trying now to adjust your life and your lifestyle to please the deity so that you can get what you want. Well, you use this the same way, but instead of worshiping an external deity, how about you search for who you are? How about you find out who you are and express yourself? Learn who you are. Learn nature, because you are nature. You're the manifestation of nature. And then instead of praying to an external deity, how about you use your mind, learn to use, practice to use, and make it a habit of using your mind the way it was intended to be used. And to use all of your mental faculties to their optimum ability. Use them optimally. That's what you should do. Okay? Use, discover, get to know all of your unknown mental faculties. I mentioned one, which is imagination, which, well, I'm not going to get into it, but you have so many, there are so many. Y'all go study the Silva method and other types of sciences so you can become familiar with what your other faculties are. Hold on. So you can discover those other faculties. And let me tell you, y'all have been bamboozled by your religious doctrines into thinking that your faculties that you have that you're not aware of are evil. Why do you think they want you to think that they're evil? So you would never you would never look for them. You'd never discover them. And if you ever did discover them, you'd be afraid to use them. Why? Because once you do that and you get the courage to investigate and to use optimally these mental faculties that you have, they have no power over you. They become the level of animals to you. Okay? Now that's the truth. That's the truth. Why do you think every time you see yourself in media, you are seen doing something that's genocidal to your own people, like drug dealers? Why do you think they give you heroes like Ice Cube and others? Remember during the 90s, the gangster rap? Y'all remember that? Why do you think they gave you heroes like that? Boys in the Hood movie? Glamorizing violence and genocide against your own people. Glamorizing drug use and drug dealing. Glamorizing hating each other. Making it glamorous and popular to be cold and mean and uncaring to your own people. You won't even give your own brother $1, and that's supposed to be cool. Why do you think they did that? Why? Well, it should be obvious, right? But because the hybrid is most of your gods, you accepted it without question. You sold drugs to your own people. A lot of y'all became crackheads. A lot of y'all went to prison for selling drugs. I know. A lot of y'all killed people. I've seen it. A lot of y'all offered drugs to your own mother and father, to your own brother and sister. A lot of you sold it to your own family members and your best friend. I remember a guy I grew up with offered me drugs when I was in my 20s. That's how sick. That's how sick you and our people are. Why? Because you're worshiping external gods, whether you want to admit it or not. You got on a pair of Nikes right now? Are you dressing like hip-hop artists? Are you speaking the language of hip-hop? You following trends? Well, who you think gave you those trends? Your gods gave them to you. Not the artist. Who do you think makes the decision about the lyrics, about the video? It's the record companies. Who controls the record companies? These are your gods. It's not your culture. There's no such thing as cultural appropriation or culture vultures. No. Because the record companies and the movie producers are making the final decisions on what you get to see and how often you get to hear it. And they will play it and play it and play it until you start liking it. Tell me I'm wrong. I've been watching this since the 1970s. You need to let these gods go. Nobody's going to save you but you. You need to appreciate the faculties that you have been born with. Not just appreciate them, but use them. Discover them and use them. And get up off your knees. Serving these external deities. That's how you use what I'm teaching you. Learn who you are and be yourself. That means return to the Most High. Live harmonically with nature. Use your mental faculties optimally. If you're going to pray, pray to use your mind optimally. Pray to discover who you are. And then ultimately, you're going to find that you've been praying to yourself. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the last couple videos I've done. All right. So the point of what the author is saying here is that you are not locked in. You are not locked in to any energy or characteristics in a zodiacal age. There is change. Just as Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and which one did I miss? Oh, Gemini. They're mutable. Just as those are mutable, you can also change. All right, you are not locked in. Okay, I just gave you a brief overview how. If you want the details on how to do it, go and watch the last 20 videos. We're on number 44 right now. All right. Well, matter of fact, go back and watch all 44 videos, and you'll learn how to do it. Such duality inevitably produces a tension, which all four of these signs symbolize. Okay, we're dealing with tension in one way or another. This is least evident in Virgo and Sagittarius, since the Earth... Okay, so we already went through that. I'm not going to go through. Let's skip down a couple sentences. These latter two have much in common. He's talking about Gemini and Pisces, as their glyphs show. Now, I've shown y'all this before. You should be able to make sense of this. Look at these two glyphs. Y'all see them? One is 2 columns. Gemini is 2 columns. Okay? Pisces is 2 circles. But most of the circles have been erased. Most of the part of the circle has been erased. And then there's a line connecting them. Y'all see that? It's a half circle. The other half has been erased. And there's a line connecting it. Okay? Y'all remember that? Let me show you in the book. Give me 1 minute. Let me find it. So you go back and you research this. Remember what I discussed about this? Okay, this is Pisces. This is also Pisces. All right. Can y'all see that? Take a look here. Read this. All right. And then here it is right here. You see JC in the circle? In the Vesica? The Vesica Pisces? Y'all see that? In science, we would call this a vesicle. All right? There could be anything inside of this vesicle. Be an enzyme, a hormone, whatever. It could be a pathogen. Okay? It can be a medicine or a drug inside of this vesicle. This vesicle would be needed to get inside of a cell wall. Same concept. Once inside of the wall, of the cell wall, the vesicle opens up, right? And then JC or whatever is inside the vesicle gets to enter into the cell. Clear? It's like a Trojan horse if it's used, if it's like a virus or something like that. They get in. Okay, but it's a good thing if it's not a pathogen. All right? But this is JC. Why is JC in this vesicle? Maybe it's because just like the virus is in a vesicle, has to be in order to get into your cell. JC or Christianity, Catholicism hides their true meaning. It's in a vesicle to get in your mind. Okay, so y'all go back and study this, all right, so you can understand these relationships, all right. So I know I'm moving fast, but I want to finish up Pisces. I don't want to be in Pisces a long time. I'm ready to move on to a new book. That's why I'm going so fast, okay? All right, so Gemini has two parallel poles. I just showed it to you. Separate but joined at the top and the bottom. Pisces has two fish swimming in opposite directions, joined at the center by a thin band. Okay? Pisces, two columns, joined at the top and the bottom. Looks like a Roman numeral 2 almost. Okay? Pisces, two fish, I just showed it to you. Looks like two circles connected by a line in the center. In psychological terms, duality, two, right? Two. Duality can become duplicity, double talk, double dipping, double dealing, and dubious. And this, for Manilius, characterized the Piscean type, a double dealing, double dipping, dubious, intentionally deceitful type. This is Pisces. This is Christianity. As we might expect, he tells us that the Piscean, or that the Pisces guy, makes a good fisherman whose skills enable him to sweep smooth seas with nets, to drag the sand and draw the leaping captives to the land. Okay, so this is Millennius on page 128. JC, the Christ figure, said he would make his apostles fishers of men. Right? And remember how they put the net on the other side of the boat? And they had this huge catch in the net? So, my friend, you are the fish. That's right. You are the fish. You are the fish. You have JC in the vesicle that we just looked in, okay? In other words, Christianity is intentionally deceiving you. JC is in a vesicle. In other words, it's presented, JC, Christianity is presented as something good for you, so you let him in. You transport yourself into the narrative. You let that vesicle into your cell wall. Then the vesicle comes off without you knowing and begins to make or spew poison into your mind. And now you get shipped out of nature, out of natural law, on the good ship Jesus, into maritime admiralty, Catholic, Christian, canon, policy, jurisdiction. You become a bondman or a bondwoman, and all of the things that go with that darkness, which is the world of the dead underneath the waters. This is the maritime law. Okay? Anyway, let's continue. How long I've been going? Okay, so Millennius continues. Lay cheating wires, or with unfaithful bait, the hook concealed, and get by the deceit. Y'all see that? Here you are, Christ in a vesicle. Concealed. Okay? The hook is concealed. All right? Y'all see it? So suspicious of Pisces is he that, he says, nobody should want it prominently placed in his horoscope. Y'all hear that? I'm on page 205. Now, is there any coincidence that Pisces is Christianity? Christianity represents itself by two fish, y'all? Huh? You think that's also a coincidence? Or are they telling you this? Or not telling you, but you know what I mean. Here's the Christian symbol. Y'all see? Here is the Greek word for fish. The Greek word for fish, which the Christians use. Hold on, y'all. Give me one moment. Okay, so here is the Greek word meaning fish that the Christians use. Aisos, Christos, Theos, Hyos, Soter, or Soter. Jesus Christ, of God's Son, Savior. The Ichthus. Y'all remember that? Ichthus. I didn't make this up. I didn't make it up. Y'all see it for yourself. Now, here's what I wanted to get to. This is what I wanted to get to. Okay? No, page 206. Page 206. Manilius detects a weakness in Pisces, which we might call spinelessness. So if someone is spineless, that means they are a coward. One of the most dangerous kinds of people there are is a coward. The coward is the one who will shoot you. Why? Because he's afraid to fight. He's afraid to fight with his hands. Why? Because he knows he can't fight. Or he's afraid to get beat up. So he pulls a gun. He shoots you. Or a spineless person is someone who's supposed to have your back. Let's say you're in a foxhole. You're in a war. And instead of fighting, he crawls down and starts crying. Or he gets up and he tries to run. Any kind of coward. These are the worst people and the most dangerous people. A coward will also try to put the blame on you to protect him or herself. Okay, so Pisces are cowards, according to millennials. Okay, so they have an unwillingness to confront anyone directly. So the coward is going to go get people, talk trash about you behind your back, and or most likely try to turn people against you. Start talking trash about you to make people distrust or lose respect for you, especially if it's your father, your biological father, or maybe it's your stepfather, or maybe it's your mother. These would be those toxic type of people. The jealous or envious person, right? The narcissist, the psychopath, the sociopath, mother or father, or brother or sister, cousin, friend. Y'all see it? Unwillingness to confront anyone directly. They won't confront you directly. Why? Because they know they're full of BS. They don't have anything bad that they could possibly say about you. So they're going to make something up. They just can't confront you and say, you know what? I don't like you. Or you know what? I feel hurt around you. For whatever reason they feel hurt. They may feel hurt because you look good wearing a shirt. Stupid stuff. Or they may feel hurt because of your mind. Right? You're in honor. Who knows what these people feel hurt about? But the point is they feel hurt. Seeing you and being around you makes them feel hurt. And they want to hurt you back. They want to bring you down so that they can feel better or for whatever reason. Okay? So they are unwilling to confront you or anybody else directly. They are devious, covert, and cowardly. These are people I know from experience. I got family members like this. These people will try to hurt you in such a way that you cannot recover. Your father, your mother, your brothers and sisters. How do you know? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a hint. I'm going to give you one powerful piece of information. You can identify who your enemies are. Don't listen to what anybody says. You look at what they do. Think about your like for example, maybe it's your father. You think about this. The times when your father knew about your business, anything happening in your life, anything he had knowledge of, or anything that he was involved with, has it always gone wrong? Has it always gone wrong? Was it going good before he was involved? Or before he knew about it? What about your mother? What about your brother, your sister, your cousin, or your best friend? What about your co-workers or your boss? Y'all think about that. Every time they're involved in something, it goes wrong. Every time they find out about something, it goes wrong. Every time they meet one of your friends, all of a sudden your friend is looking at you sideways. They don't want to deal with you. The relationship has changed in a way for the worse. And you're sitting there wondering why, what happened? Do you have the courage to do it? And if you realize that it's your father who's been sabotaging you, a coward, a devious, deceitful person who feels hurt just by your presence. Just by your presence. Okay? If it's anybody close to you, do you have the strength and the courage to walk away from them and never talk to them again? Never talk to them again, because they want to see you down, in jail, or dead. It is what it is. And this is what religion does to people. And this is also what not following natural law does to people. Destroys them mentally. Even they want to hurt their own heirs. Or maybe I'm talking to you. Maybe you're the mother or the father, the sister or the brother who's a coward, displaying this Piscean behavior. If that's you, you're not stuck in that. You can change it. You can change it using the principles, the Hermetic laws that I talked about earlier. You can change it. All right? You can change that low vibrational mindset and behavior. You can come into peace. All right? So let's continue. Now this is, hold on. So Alan, let me continue. Alan tells us that the sign he's talking about, Pisces, was quote unquote considered a malignant influence. Malignant means it's uncurable, like malignant cancer. Pisces was considered a malignant influence in human affairs. So when we talk human, remember, I feel like I haven't said this in a while, Han Uman. So whenever you see human, you should think Han Uman. Okay? And make the distinction between Han Uman, human, hybrid, monster, who cannot inherit. Make the distinction between that and man. Okay, man and man with the womb, woman. Make the distinction, two different jurisdictions. Okay? So you need to understand or figure out for yourself which one they're talking about, right? Put it in context. Okay? So Pisces, according to Allen, is considered a malignant influence in man's affairs. A dull would be low vibrational. Treacherous means tricky, right? These people will set you up. For example, they'll set you up, try to get you put in jail. All right? And pretend, let me tell y'all, these type of cowards, usually family members. It might be a best friend, but family members, people who you least suspect, especially if it's a mother, father, brother, sister. You least suspect it. You never suspect it. That's why they have so much success, mess you up through your life, right? Because you don't suspect it. You don't suspect that someone could hate you who's so close to you, who want to see you down and out, dead, in jail, who's so close to you, right? Especially if it's a mother or a father. These people are so treacherous that they will try to get you locked up. They will try to bait you into doing something or saying something, and then go turn you in. And all the while in the process, they will be acting to you like they're trying to help you. Okay? These are some sick people. Very low vibrational people. So that's treachery, right? That's treachery, tricking you. All the while pretending like they're trying to help you. Or maybe they're going to drive you to court. Let's say you got to go to court. They got you in a situation. You don't know that it was them who did it. Now you got a case. You done caught a case. You don't know it was your father, your mother, your sister who set you up. So you're fighting this case. They offer to drive you. Okay? So you say, yeah. And then they do everything they can to try to make you late. And y'all know if you're late to court, they're going to go on without you. They're going to move forward without you, right? And now you got to deal with that. Okay, so this is how treacherous these evil, wicked, cowardly, poo-butt people are. But if it's your father or your mother, can you break away? Can you save yourself? Or are you still in the mindset of blood is thicker than water? That's my father, that's my mother. And so you're going to crash. You're going to let them destroy you. If they destroy you, what about your heirs? Those babies. Don't let these people ruin your life. Walk away from them and never say hello, never have a conversation with them again in life, because they cannot sleep unless they are harming you. And they will get you. If you keep coming around, they will have success. Why? Because they spend their whole life doing this to people. That's all they think about. And that's not you. I'm talking about the victim here. I'm talking about the person who has a normal personality. You don't spend your whole day thinking about how to harm somebody. You do whatever you're going to do. You don't even think like that. Okay, so they got more experience with it than you. Okay? And in the worst case, they might do it themselves while you're sleeping. Okay? While you're sleeping. Or when you're not looking. All right? Anyway, let's continue. This is what I wanted to get to. Page 206. Page 206, right here. Y'all open your books. Here's what it says concerning Pisces. The Egyptians, Mizraim, okay, Kemet, these are Moors. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, Moors, sprung from the soil. Forget about families and nations right now, okay? Listen, the Egyptians, the instructors, the teachers, the professors of the Hebrews in astrology. Now we know Hebrew is a broad term. Those who crossed over. Crossed over what? Crossed over a body of water? Well, what's the water? Is it 2 fish in the water? Is it Aquarian water? Is it a physical body of water? Is it all 3 of them? Have you ever thought about that? Okay, the instructors of the Hebrews. There are lots of Hebrews. Is it talking about the house of Yasharallah only? Or all of those who crossed over? Okay, the ancient Egyptians, the instructors, the professors, the teachers, The advisors of the Hebrews in astrology are said to have obtained, let me repeat that, are said to have abstained. They would not. They are said to have abstained from eating sea fish. They would not eat sea fish out of dread. That means they're extremely scared. And abhorrence. Y'all know what dread is? You're terrorized. Abhorrence. It's a disgusting thing. Like you smell dog poop or cow poop, right? It causes a physical reaction where you want to get away. Okay? So the ancient Egyptians would not eat sea fish. They were terrorized of eating sea fish, and it was a disgusting, stinky thing that they wanted to get away from. Yet, JC, the Christ figure, told his apostles, I'm going to make you fishers of men. And when they would express anything odious, anything extremely negative, so when the ancient Egyptians expressed anything negative, bad, an abomination, they represented it as a fish in their writing. They represented it as a fish in their hieroglyphics. This quote comes from Allen on page 340. So who you going to roll with? You going to roll with your ancient foremothers and forefathers? Or you going to roll with the modern astrologists? Now, if they wouldn't eat fish, they were terrorized about the idea of eating fish. And fish cause a reaction that you would smell, that you would experience if you smell cow poop. Why in the world would you represent a religion, Christianity, ichthos, as a fish, something that is an abomination, stinky, terrorizing? Terrorizing to the Moors. Men and women sprung from the soil, Genesis chapter 2. But what? It's the best thing since sliced bread to the hybrid, because it's the mechanism of their conquest of you and theft of your birthright. It's about perspective. Okay? Now, you religious people, you Bible thumpers, those of you who are under the jurisdiction of Maritime Admiralty, Catholic, Christian, I'm talking about New Testament policy. You better think twice about what you done did. Return to the Most High. Follow His commandments. Follow His instructions, which are at their essence natural law. Don't harm anybody, including yourself. And that's all there is to it. Stay in honor at all times. Return to nature. Stop worshiping these external deities. Turn to yourself and learn who you are. And remember, common sense tells you that you need to live in harmony with nature. Nobody has to try to convince you of that. And that's all I'm saying to you now. And that's all that the Most High's instructions require of you. But right now, 99.99% of you, of us, are ignorant of natural law, completely detached from nature, afraid to even go out and plant an herb and use it. I got friends like that. But they feel safe to go into a pharmacy. and by a molecule that they don't know nothing about. And they feel safe. Why? They're out of their mind. Let's continue. However, this is not the whole story. For the Hebrews, at least, Pisces has some redeeming features. Now do y'all see it? Y'all see it? Now we're getting into the religious remix. Yeah, Pisces was something extremely terrorizing and abhorrible to the ancient men and women, the ancient Moors. Okay, across all nations and families, right? But yeah, here we are. For the Jewish religion, Pisces has some redeeming features. Now, isn't it interesting that they're connecting Judaism with Christianity? Y'all see that? That's what this is for, to prep your mind for Christianity. Let's continue. It is probable that Pisces represented Jacob's son, Joseph. It is possible. What does possible mean? It could be this, but it could be that, but it could be something else, and it could be something else. All right? Make the distinction. It is possible that Pisces represented Jacob's son, Joseph. So now Joseph, think about that. Use your reasoning mind. Joseph is represented as Pisces, something that is terrorizing to the ancient Egyptians, something that is disgusting to the ancient Egyptians, but yet Joseph is supposed to have been second in charge only to Pharaoh and responsible for managing all of the Egyptian resources, agricultural, financial, the gold, the silver, everything. Joseph managed everything. But yet we're supposed to believe that the ancient Egyptians would put him in that position, but yet he is Pisces. He's a deceiver, a coward, a devious liar, a manipulator. Use your logical mind. The dreamer, okay, we're talking about Joseph, the dreamer and visionary, who saved his people from famine and whose cruel fate at the hands of his brothers was interrupted as a manifestation of God's Zeus, Isis, Jupiter, Odin, Woden, Sirius, and the Egyptian dog deity, I don't remember. You choose which one. Oh, also thought. Which God is he talking about? Okay, so manifestation of God's special providence. This is Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. Now, isn't it interesting that Joseph's brothers did him dirty, deceived him, a cowardly act, left him for dead? Y'all see that? Isn't that interesting? This attribution of Joseph in exalted, though flawed character. Well, what was the flaw with Joseph's character? To Pisces seems apt because there is a gentleness to the sign of Pisces. Y'all hear this BS? You gonna let this person sweet talk you? Tell you it's raining when he's peeing on you, when he's urinating on you? And you can smell it, you can see it, it's yellow. You gonna believe it? Okay? So, to the Hebrews, to the Jewish people, Pisces seems apt because there is a gentleness. Where is the gentleness in being a coward? In being devious? In being sneaky? In trying to hurt people behind their back? Setting people up? Where is the gentleness in that? Y'all listening to what this author is writing? this is a bunch of BS. Okay? He thinks that you are not thinking. He thinks that you are not thinking. He thinks that you're focused on trying to understand or trying to comprehend the sentence, that your reading skills are not strong enough, are not high enough to be able to think about, to comprehend what he's reading and then also analyze what he's saying at the same time. Why is he thinking that? Because he knows that you went through the school system and you were not properly educated. He knows that you're starting off with a low reading comprehension and or poor, weak, underdeveloped analytical thinking skills, critical thinking skills. So he's trying to play you. He also knows that he's your God. He also knows that the white man is your God. And whatever he say, you're going to believe, especially if it's written in a book. He knows your psychology. Why? Because you've gone through animal husbandry training in the school system, be it public, private, or the university system. You are not in the inside of the house. You're on the outside. You get religious dogma. You don't get nature. You don't get natural law. Okay? You don't get these things. You don't get to know the mysteries of the secrets of the kingdom of God. All right? JC reserved that for the people who are in the inner house. So you just out here. So they can tell you anything, knowing that you're going to believe it. All right? Now, he just tried to play you. This attribute of Joseph, an exalted, though flawed character. Show me the flaw. To Pisces, some apt, because there is a gentleness to the sign of Pisces. Well, not according to our ancient ancestors. They abhorred, they dreaded Pisces. Okay? All right? And then, y'all listen to this. Listen. To Pisces, according to the Jews, to Pisces seems apt, because there is a gentleness to the sign and an ability to empathize. Why would you empathize with a cold-hearted, cruel killer? Why would you empathize with a coward who's trying to destroy you? A spineless coward who's unwilling to confront you directly, who is devious. They did some dirty, rotten things to you, like telling you that you're somebody you're not, or something that you're not, by stealing your birthright, by oppressing and murdering your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your kinfolk, your ancestors, and stealing their birthright, and putting you in bondage, and teaching you that being in bondage is normal. A lot of y'all don't realize that y'all are in bondage right now. You're being escheated, you're being attainder, and you're being hit with bills of attainder frequently and consistently. And you think that is normal. All right? So the Jewish people, and by the way, who set up the financial system, the banking system? Who's running the political system now? Who? Who's the head of the music industry? Who's the head of TV, all the entertainment? Who? Who are these people? What have they done to you? Look at the quality of life in North America right now. The drugs, the violence, the policy enforcer brutality, the private prisons, the genocide, taking away of babies, children, and family service. Look at all of this and go back to the 1950s, 1940s. Look at the divorce rate. Look at the drug addiction. Look at all of these factors. You go back to the 40s and 50s, and you'll see that life was better for our people then. But they teach you it was worse. In other words, they turned the screws. They're turning the screws on you. Okay? But y'all have been taught that it's normal. And they want you to have empathy. They want you to feel sorry for them when they suffer. This is why you black people get on the nerve, get on the news. You have the nerve to say you forgive a policy enforcer who kills, takes the life of your own heir. You forgive them. Or you see the administrative officer, so-called judge, magistrate, so-called, hug a murderer, someone who murdered someone who looks just like her, and it was a hybrid policy enforcer who did the murdering, and they put it all over TV. This guy Crump cutting deals, right? Everybody get it. Every time something happened, whether these things are real events or whether they're not, that's not my point. I'm saying that they always wind up forgiving. Okay, so why? Because Christianity, religion teaches you to forgive, to have empathy. Okay? That's your God. He can do no wrong. You apologize when they kill you or your heir or your loved one. You apologize. Be Christ-like. Okay? Water symbolizes emotion. Okay, so Pisces, 2 fish in water. Water is emotion. Emotion flows, right? Of reaching out to others in their distress. Y'all think somebody who is jealous or envious of you, who wants to hurt you, this Piscean character, you think when they see you in distress, they're going to help you? No. They're going to try to hurt you. They may try to hide it from your face that they're trying to hurt you, but they're going to try to hurt you. Okay? Of concern for the suffering world. All right? Just like they offer you the thing in your arm, right? They don't want you to suffer. Okay? And most of y'all believed it. They're concerned about you. Okay, they want to help you. Huh? Y'all believed it. Why? Because you're worshiping an external deity. You've been taught, what do they call this? Stockholm syndrome. Okay? For modern writers, modern is the key word. In fact, the faults of Pisces, which so horrified Millennials, also the ancient Egyptians, our ancestors, are really just expressions of Pisces' extreme sensibility. Y'all see that? So this is like when one of these hybrids goes and shoots up a shopping mall, shoots up a school. What is the first thing they're going to say? Oh, he was under stress. He had some psychological problems at the time. They want you to be sensitive. Make excuses for this person. But in fact, the person behaved like an animal. And they need to be seen and treated as such. They need to get the natural law executed on them. And we all know what that is. In fact, if the natural law was executed on them, well, they'd stop doing it. But they do it because y'all apologize. Y'all turn the other cheek. Y'all say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what you did. You have empathy for them. Why? Because you're out of your mind. You got the mindset of a slave, a bondman or a bondwoman. You have accepted defeat. And I can say that because I see the music that most of you are listening to in North America. I see the TV shows, the YouTube podcast. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Most of you have accepted defeat. I see it also in the inability, unwillingness rather, to cooperate, to support one another. Everybody's still trying to get over. Everybody want to take, but not give. And if you don't get what you want, you go trash somebody on YouTube or the internet. Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I would like for you to support my project to write the book of the law in modern English and ancient Ibaryath so I can add the natural law back into the book of the law, add the astrology back into the book of law, and show you constitutional concepts and principles. Okay, so I can restore the book of the law to what it was when our ancient ancestors had it before it was edited. Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. All right? If you want to learn more, you can subscribe to my online streaming class, which is 101 Ancient Ibaryath. If you want to come to class, a Zoom class every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. Show up. You don't have to pay anything. If you want to enroll, then you can enroll. And of course, there's a tuition fee, but it's very reasonable. All right, so Islam to all the Moors. Thank you for your support. Thank you for showing up. And those of you who might pull the trigger to support or come to class or subscribe next week, thank you in advance. Islam and Shalom.